The weekly family meeting is great for preventing a crisis in your home, a crisis in your marriage. It is really an opportunity every week to sit down together for between an hour and a half and figure out how you are going to run the household together for the coming week. So you're reviewing the previous week, how it went, the highs and lows, things you need to adjust, things that worked well or didn't, and how you are going to run the upcoming week. And it is a family meeting, so everybody should be there, everyone at least a couple years old or old enough to start doing even some small chores around the house. So a 2-year-old can do things like put his toys away or organize the silverware. So there are things that you can assign your young kids to do and allow them a seat at the table during the family meeting that will make them feel more a part of the fabric of the family, and that's really good for kids. For you and your spouse, this weekly family meeting is going to be great to prevent any issues from piling up. So throughout the week, instead of feeling like you have to address every problem right there in the moment or it'll be forgotten, you can make an agenda every week, whether it's a Google Doc or a whiteboard in your house, and just write down stuff that comes up during the week that you want to address during the family meeting. That way you can get it off your conscience and know that even if you go about the rest of your week, that will be addressed at the end of the week or the start of the next week during the meeting. So when you're in the meeting, you're going to want to have some ground rules. So some good examples are we don't leave the meeting until we've addressed every item on the agenda, or we aren't going to veto someone's idea unless we replace it with one of our own that we think is better. We're not going to agree to some sort of arrangement of chores or some way of doing something if we're not actually going to carry that out in the coming week. You're really just using this time, you and your spouse, with your kids present if you have kids, to figure out how to live the coming week a little bit better, a little bit more functionally, a little bit more joyfully than you did the previous week. If you do have kids on the younger side, you can address their issues first. So you can talk about their chores or things that they did the previous week that you guys wanted to bring up at the beginning of the meeting. That way they don't have to stay the whole time, because a lot of the times young kids, as you know if you have them, have very short attention spans. So it doesn't mean that they have to stay the whole time during the meeting to have a seat at the table. You just want them there for the parts that are relevant to them. Ideally, this meeting is the same time and the same day every week, and you guys do have an agenda going into it together. And make sure that on that agenda, you have your ground rules, the same ones for every week. And keep the rules as limited as possible, meaning that the fewer rules you have, the more likely you guys are going to be able to follow them. It's really hard if you have 10 rules and you're trying to all follow every single one of them in every moment. But if you only have 3 rules, say to be respectful and to stay at the table and to finish the agenda, whatever it is, if you have fewer rules, you're going to be a lot more likely to be effective at following the rules and getting a lot out of that meeting. I'm Cameron, and this is Modern Marriage. See you guys next week.